Hi and welcome to Channel eTech. I am your host and soft skills instructor Freddy. Friends, today we are going to discuss a few things on communication. It's needless to say that communication plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. It can make or break relations. As far as a business house is concerned, communication has to be absolutely professional to maintain the decorum of the workplace, as well as it's very imperative on our part to maintain good relations with our clients and customers. Communication is the process of exchange of message from one person to another. This can be by any means. Let me illustrate it with a diagram. For example, this is person A. He is known as a sender because he is the person who is sending the message. This is person B, who is known as the messenger because he is the person who is receiving the message. Now friends, the process of communication essentially involves three processes. The first step is that the sender has some kind of source of information which is there in his mind. It can be a thought, it can even be a data, it can even be a feeling. Then through the process of encoding, that's called encoding, the message is sent from the sender to the messenger. And then through the process of decoding, the messenger actually translates the message in his brain, in his mind, in such a way that it is easily palatable to him, so that he easily understands the message. Friends, people who communicate with a friendly tone and a warm smile always have the edge. It's because of the simple reason that we are subconsciously driven towards those people who are friendly, as they make us feel good. Friends, often I have come across those people who just speak whatever comes into their mind without realizing its consequences. As a result, they end up reflecting poorly on themselves. This reminds me of a very outspoken person who used to be my trainer many years back. Once during the course of conversation, it was a training session, and just amidst the conversation, to one of my batchmates, he told, "And if you feel that your father is not your father, we will conduct a DNA test. But I'm sure he will be your father." Friends, the entire class froze and went into chills. I myself was taken aback big time. We didn't know what to say, we did not know how to react. The trainee who was told this immediately got up and told, "Sir, that was a bad joke." After a few minutes, another trainer who was sitting in our class, who witnessed the entire incident, told that trainee that "I'm really very sorry, I really apologize what my colleague told to you." Friends, it's needless to say that the trainer who told this lost all his respect in the eyes of my batch. Confidence is nothing but self-assurance arising from appreciation of one's own abilities. Friends, if you have to be confident, if you need to deliver a confident speech, you have to make the use of powerful words, your tone has to be perfect, the volume has to be proper, and the allied parameters also have to be taken care of. Friends, if you ask any native English speaker, he would definitely say that how you speak matters the most, rather than what words you use. So imbibe in yourself that confidence and see the results for yourself. Always be aware that you are the reflection of your company. As a new employee, you are advised to read the manuals, vision and mission statements so as to get the desired corporate image. Friends, it is important out here to note that customer loyalty is based upon personal treatment and not just on the product price. One simple mistake from a CSR can kill a long time loyalty of a customer. Friends, it often happens that we try to use acronyms and buzzwords as a part of our communication. I don't say that we are not supposed to use idioms or phrases or such acronyms, but in business life, if you go on to see, according to me, a professional communication is something which has to be crisp and clear. Let me give you two striking examples of buzzwords. First foremost is sweat equity. Now, if you look at the word sweat equity, you will not understand anything. But the real meaning is just getting a stake in the business instead of pay. So if in a business, certain business house, if a person is just getting the stake in the business, if he's a stake owner, but if he's not getting the pay, this is something which is called as sweat equity. One more thing, chief cook and bottle washer. This has nothing to do with catering or something like that. It is just the term used for a person who holds many responsibilities in a corporate house. We often call him as chief cook and bottle washer. This is something which is used in Western countries, but as far as communication in a country, Asian country like India is concerned, it's not necessary for us to use acronyms like this. Friends, if you want to see some certain internet jargons, we call these jargons like LOL, which is laugh out loud, message of the day, MOTD, see you around, CYA, IANAL, I am not a lawyer, FAQ, as we all know, frequently asked questions, BTW, it's by the way, IMHO, in my humble opinion, TTYL, talk to you later. All these jargons we have to avoid because it's like people like you and me who often understand the meaning of these things, but it's not hard and fast for each and every person to know. So in my opinion, according to me, we are not supposed to use jargons or acronyms and buzzwords. See, this is a channel meant for professional communication training, so your communication has to be professional. In other words, the message has to come across from the sender to the receiver in a crisp and clear way. Friends, whenever you are engaged in a face-to-face verbal communication, body language and face expressions take a real-time role. Just imagine this video without me using any of the facial expressions, as in like, hello and welcome to Channel E-Tech. Would you ever subscribe to this channel? Certainly not. This is because body language and facial expressions play a pivotal role in passing the messages from one person to another and makes the communication crisp and clear. Be sincere. Be polite and trustworthy. You just cannot fake it by using a polite language but having a soft tone in your voice. Your listeners need to understand that you really care for them and that you are truly interested in solving their problems. You just cannot fake it, so don't even try. Control your emotions. Just like the first good impression, a first poor impression is also realized in the first few seconds. And this may lead to an everlasting impression in the minds of people. Friends, whenever you communicate with people, try to smile and have an eye contact with people, thereby appearing approachable. Let me remind you a very interesting incident of my graduating days in microbiology. In my very first day in the first year, during the lecture of genetics, my lecturer came and he started to teach us genetics. He was very friendly, he was very warm, he was very polite, friends. Believe me, we were so much driven towards him that whatever he was teaching us, we could understand very well. Though, in short, in other words, I would like to say that I had got a very approachable professor. Next day in my immunology lecture, my lecturer came. He just came and he just started to teach. He did not introduce himself to us, nor he did not tell any nitty-gritties of the subject. The entire class did not quite like him. This resulted in the fact that our immunology doubts were cleared by our genetics professor. Offering praise in the right places can make a big difference to a conversation. Friends, if we have a habit of noting down important things in a conversation, then definitely it becomes a more relaxed exchange. That's the reason why we trainers always appreciate those trainees which have a habit of noting down important things during our training sessions. Hello. Good evening, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. I'll commit the message to him, sir. Yes, sir, tell me. 24319197. So the name of the client? Mr. Jones. Right, so I'll just contact him right away. Thank you, sir. So friends, before answering a telephone call, quickly scan your area. Have a comfortable place to sit, like what I did, and just see to it that you have a couple of pens or pencils and enough paper to note down anything. This will ensure a smooth flow of conversation and will create a very good impression on your caller. Friends, most of us think that handling an irate customer is quite a difficult task, but in reality, it is not. If at all you happen to encounter a customer who is having a complaint off his chest, first of all, the ground rule in such a situation is to just keep silence. Just remain mum and first let him complain everything. Because friends, you are not the first person whom he is complaining. So naturally, he will be in a hurry to tell you everything. If ever you try to interrupt him, this will only make the matter worse and it will frustrate him more. Hello friends, today we shall be discussing quite a few things about insurance. Let's get started with the basic classification of the concept of insurance. The first would be life insurance, another would be general insurance. Friends, general insurance
Excuse me,
is...
sir?
Yes, Albert?
Are there only two categories under insurance?
Albert, basically speaking, two categories are further subclassified into many more categories. So I'll be discussing them. Okay, just wait and watch. General category is further subdivided into fire insurance, motor insurance, marine insurance, and life insurance is further. Yes, Albert.
I also heard about pet insurance. My brother stays in Europe. He said that pets also have insurance over there.
They do have it, but right now, Albert, we are studying this from Indian market point of view, and out here it is not mandatory to insure your pets. But definitely things like fire, marine, and most importantly for common people like you and me, motor insurance is a must. Okay, coming back to the point. In life insurance, it's basically in simple man's language, it's LIC policy. It's a life insurance policy wherein it is further subdivided into endowment policies, endowment kind of policies, policies exclusively CHILDRENS children's policies, exclusively meant for children. Then another is money back policy, where you get money back in regular intervals of time, as the name suggests. Now friends,
Excuse sir?
Yes, Albert.
I think there should also be health related plans, health insurance.
Okay, there are. Well, why don't we come up with a good activity? Friends, I would like Albert to just come out here. I'll give him 5 minutes. Albert, please walk on the stage and just write down 5 points about whatever you know about general and life insurance. That will be a good knowledge sharing activity, as well as our dear friend Albert will be finished with all his doubts. Albert, can you just walk in out here?
I'm sorry sir, I can ask you questions later. We can continue right now.
Okay, Albert, as you suggest. Okay, no problems. Albert, but I want you to note down as many doubts as possible and ask me after I finish my session, alright?
Okay sir.
Okay. So friends, as we have seen, this thing was not at all about insurance. We will be dealing with a specific kind of category of people called ramblers. That was just an illustratory example with a character called Albert. Friends, a rambler is a person who tries to intervene or who deliberately or maybe by default, whatever you say, he or she tries to interrupt a conversation. Very basically speaking, communication is a process of transfer of message from sender to a receiver through any kind of medium. It can be oral communication, it can be written communication, it can be verbal, non-verbal, whatever. But ramblers are such people who in one way or the other try to interrupt this course of conversation. Such people, we call them as ramblers. But people, I would like to tell you something. We all are professional communicators, and we shouldn't be forgetting that ramblers are also humans. If in an inhuman way I treat them, that will be not a very professional thing on my part. What I can do is, I can always change the topic during the line of conversation tactfully so that the rambler is not getting affected, he's not getting abused or he's not getting hurt. At the same time, I can always give such people a lack of 5 minutes so that they can ask me all their doubts and questions, so that first of all I can deal with them effectively and then I can go ahead with this conversation. Friends, these and many such ideas would always create a win-win situation in your conversation. Today, telephone is one of the fastest and most widely used tools of business communication. However, we have to keep in mind some certain tips to avoid the after-call confrontations, because telephonic conversation, though being a verbal communication, it is not a face-to-face communication, friends, unless and until it's a video conference. Friends, I have jotted down quite a few things for us to educate ourselves on telephone etiquettes. First and foremost thing, always identify yourself at the beginning of a call. Friends, imagine I am calling in a company and the person first of all identify himself via his name, the department in which he works, as well as the name of his company. I will definitely get a very good impression of this person because he has fully identified himself, so that now I can come straight to the point. Second is, we have to be very sensitive to the tone of our voice, or rather the tone of our speech. This is because invariably I may be rude, I may not be rude, but I might sound rude to the opposite person, which is a very important thing. Because friends, what happens in telephonic etiquettes, as far as telephonic etiquettes are concerned, I have to be very empathetic towards the opposite person. What happens is, if I am sensitive towards the tone of my speech, then I will be definitely not rude. I will sound in a very polite and warm and a caring way. This will definitely leave a very good impression on the opposite person with whom I am speaking. Think exactly what you have to say. I have come across many people who first dial the number, get the call connected, and then they think what they have to say, what they have to ask. That is actually not a very good sign. So always before dialing the number, before placing the call, you have to think and plan exactly what we have to say so that the line of conversation goes in a smooth way. If I am to leave my message on the answering machine, I shall demonstrate it to you like this. Hello, good evening Mr. John Smith. This is Freddy, soft skills trainer from channel eTech. Kindly get back to me on 007 918 3178. Thank you. That was just a small illustration on how you would be leaving your message on the answering machine, because the person who would be receiving this message has to have a crisp and clear idea about what the opposite person left the message on his answering machine. Then do not be distracted by any other activities while being on a call. Friends, invariably it happens that I may be standing on a busy airport, or maybe on a dock, or maybe anywhere, railway station, platform, bank, anywhere. But when I am on a call, the opposite person is all ears to me. He is only interested in what is going on in my mind. So I have to be very much undistracted by other activities. Even if someone is calling me, I can just wave him off like this, and okay, I'm coming in 5 minutes, but as far as my verbal thing is concerned, I have to be fully there on the call. So friends, always treat every caller in a very subtle way, in a very warm and polite way, so that he feels it very welcoming. So guys, as we have seen, the more clear a communication is, the more concise will be the exchange of ideas from the sender to the receiver. Any kind of communication, whether it is written or verbal, has to be absolutely crisp and clear to ensure effective delivery of message from the sender to the receiver. Stay tuned to channel eTech for more videos on soft skills. Till then, keep watching.